This meeting will be called to order. Please stand for this flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. Do we have any translation needs? Okay, seeing none, then we'll proceed to approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I motion we approve the agenda.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so carries. Next thing we got is public comment. We have one request, Mr. Jake Mendez.
Hi there, this is Jake Mendez Jr. I'm an activist and an ACLU Washington member. I just want to give a huge thanks to all those who were involved, the Othello School District and City of Othello and McCain Foods and all the vendors. Don't know which vendors there because I wasn't there. I want to thank them as well for putting that movie event together at Kiwanis Park. It's something new. My thoughts about it is that after these 2 years of the pandemic, it seems like it's pivoting to where we can bring families together at an event to surpass this era in time. And this way, you know, we can bring families together. I like that idea. I like the fact where it's going. And I hope that from here on out it could continue. This way they would encourage more students and families and relatives to come together and come to events like that. And I want to thank the big corporations and businesses in the city of Othello to put all this together. I just want to thank each and every one of you for that, and I'm pretty impressed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jake, for your comments there. We'll go on to board member discussion. I don't have a legislative report, but I hear there was a good meeting with our state Senate representative. You want to kind of give it a little update on it? Or I know Pete had a good conversation with her too.
Yeah, we appreciated the opportunity to connect with Representative Torres to talk a little bit about issues that we're facing as a school district. We spent most of our time talking primarily about some of the impacts of school finance across the state of Washington and what's happening in a variety of districts. So it was good to get her perspective and also share ours. Certainly Washington is a diverse state, and rural eastern Washington different than other parts of the state perhaps, but all of the school districts are feeling the impacts of increased costs. So it was nice to, again, share our perspective. I think we shared some information with her that was new to her, and she made a commitment that she'd go back and learn about those things and talk to others who are dealing with similar issues. So I really appreciated the opportunity to not only advocate for the Othello School District, but for her to take an interest in our community as our representative. It was nice to be able to connect with her. She has also been able to visit Othello in her professional capacity with Western Governors. I got it wrong when I met with her, but she works for Western Governors and has worked with some of our staff in the past as well. So she has an understanding of education in general and particularly higher ed. So it was nice to make those connections as well. So I appreciated the opportunity and Director Camp setting that up for us.
I would like to say something. The WASDA representative wants to meet with our two representatives here and talk and maybe get some pictures on cookies and convo. She was pretty excited when we were explaining it to you. Okay? So
yeah, the legislative arm, Marisa Rathbone from WASDA, was there to meet Senator Torres,
yeah,
and she was
so
very excited about our
yes, we were
cookies and
telling her,
convo
so
and wants to come. So
that's pretty cool, huh? Yeah.
Great, good news. Next thing on the list is the NSBA conference, which will be in April 6th to the 8th. So we need to get some notice in for pre-registration and reservations.
Wasn't it in New Orleans, Ken?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is in New
Looked like it'll be a
Orleans.
cool place for you guys.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I know we don't know what's going to happen post-November, but I would think that we need 5 spots. Just, I mean, and then if we
Yes.
don't, then we can cancel,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so we'll make sure that we do the to be determined spots, and we just wanted to confirm that that was what the board was desiring.
Yeah,
Okay.
plus 2 student reps.
Okay.
Thank you. Wahitas site visit schedule. It's September 18th. I will not be here next week, Lindsay, so could you?
Okay. Yep.
Take that over. Have we got a time on that? I believe it's 7:30?
Actually, a little bit later at the elementaries, it doesn't begin until 8:50.
Okay.
There's a attachment there, and that, oh, there it is. Marisa's got it up on the screen for you. So
Okay.
it does run a little bit later. Perhaps the admin share and reflection might, that might speed up. But I think they've just provided the amount of time that they hope to have with you all.
Okay. Is there any other questions on that? Or anything else to bring up under board member discussion?
Just a quick question. Do we have a calendar of our student rep cycle? Like, Jaden, how long is your term? Till December? Okay. So then we'll get her replaced. Okay, and then your term is through June? Okay. Okay, thank you, sorry.
Okay.
I just had one question about, because the Wahitas Day changed, is that right? We got a message that is it Hiawatha that changed? But there was a couple that changed, but when I looked at the calendar, one of them wasn't different.
So in one of the items under superintendent informational items, we're going to touch on a couple of those dates.
Mhm.
Okay.
We didn't want to make any changes till we were able to confirm with the board that they were possible.
Okay. We'll go on to student representative reports.
Testing. Good afternoon, everyone. A huge thanks to everyone who showed up this evening and to those who couldn't. My student representative report would just be about the first week of school. I thought it was really successful and very welcoming. I got the opportunity to help out on staff orientation, which was amazing. I was able to greet teachers from my past and new staff, which was amazing. And I saw students take charge of the orientation. It was really inspiring for me to listen to all of that. And it got me fired up. And we had 3 student speakers and they're standing right in front of us in this room, so shout out to them. You guys were amazing that day. I know it's not easy speaking. My first few days of school were just a welcome back with some get to know you activities which I enjoyed. And this previous Friday we had our welcome back assembly at the high school. There was so much school spirit along with amazing performances by the Othello High School cheerleaders and drill team, shout out to them. And it's amazing that we have so much talented students in our school willing to perform and share their talents for the school. Everyone seemed to enjoy that assembly, so it was a win for the leadership students. I hope that we can continue to have more amazing student-led events. When we gather together, we can accomplish so much more. A huge thank you to all the staff for making the first week amazing. Thank you for giving me your attention this afternoon, and I'll let Jaden take over the stage.
Good job, Sebastian. Okay. So my report is going to be about Cookies for Conversation. As just a reminder that the high school date is set for the 20th during both lunches. This year, however, we will not be getting cookies from the hospital, but from Cowpath.
Okay, wow.
Raise the roof down, guys. So exciting. Yay. I'm not sure what kind of cookies. Most likely just chocolate chip. There might be a couple varieties in there. Again, questions will be mental health based. Another thing on that is there any way, like, as a board, you guys can make the high school, like, any counselors seem less scary to come talk to? Because some of my friends have been like, oh, well, they prefer telling their friends about it other than telling, like, the adult that we're supposed to tell about it. The first week of school is really hard. It's very stressful. They make it really fun. They make it lots of icebreakers and everything, and then there's that really high of starting, and then it's the low as you go deeper into the year. So if we could make something where the counselors are less scary to come forward and to talk to them about, this is how I'm feeling and what can I do to help this. I think that would just be really great. even not only just for all my friends, but for me too. Okay, thank you.
Could I provide a comment about
Yes.
that in
Yeah.
particular, Ken? So before I address Jaden's comment, particularly about the mental health of our students and the supports that she's identified for them, I think it's really cool how different that they demonstrate leadership, but how effective both of them are. So,
Mhm.
thank you for being yourselves when you give your reports. So mental health. Counselors are an important component of it at all of our schools, and we know that they have particular skills and training to provide those kinds of supports and services to students. But there are also some structural and system things, particularly at the high school, related to advisory. Hopefully that's a teacher that you're connected with. We ask questions in student health surveys about, is there one adult here that cares about you? Sometimes that's not a counselor, it's someone else, right? But having one adult that they're connected to. So I just wanted to remind you of that. If your friends are struggling and there's someone that they, not even their teacher anymore, but someone they had as a freshman, reach out to that person, check in with them. The other is, I know that we made real strong efforts to stay connected with CBHA, and I haven't assessed it, but are the QR codes still out there where a student could scan and make an appointment and reach out to someone? Are those still available?
As far as I know, I haven't seen them around the high school, but that's probably because I'm not like looking for them. But I will let you know. If I see
I'll
them.
check into as well. So thank you for the reminder, and we'll make sure that we check in with all of our schools tomorrow to make sure that that's helpful. But a good reminder for us, Jaden, that we all get energized and excited that first day, and then reality hits you, and that's a good reminder for us. So thank you for that.
Yep, thank you.
And maybe the high school can send that out in like an email as well, because sometimes there's so much information at back to school. There's posters everywhere for all the different activities that maybe it's getting lost in the visuals of everything at high school.
So that's 20th, next week.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so board members that,
I think it's Sharon and I.
okay,
No, we were gonna do McFarland.
Oh, okay.
But I can do.
What date
I
is
don't-
McFarland? Do you have a date
They
for
have-
McFarland?
I don't have a set date for McFarland
Okay.
yet, but we
I-
do know it's sometime in mid to late October.
Okay.
I'm free Wednesday,
I can do the high school.
unless you
So-
guys, I don't know what your job times are.
I'm not free.
Okay.
I could sub in for if you guys can't make it or
Well,
something.
I guess we'll do two.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm free the 20th, so I'll be there.
okay.
What time do you want us there?
Well, first lunch is at I think 11:07. Yeah, it should be 11:07, so probably around 10:40ish. Maybe to help set up.
Okay.
Okay, and maybe some of the posters that they have for the mental health, maybe as a backdrop with them up there too. Because there's a lot of exposure with the students at that time.
Did you say that's on a Monday?
It's a Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay. And your sure lunch is at 11:07.
Lunch is at 11:07.
Your first lunch, aren't you?
Yes.
I know.
Great. Great, thank you very much. Okay, we'll go on to required approvals. Do I have a motion for the required approvals?
I motion to approve the required approvals.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carries. We'll go on to superintendent informational items.
Ken, did we miss our policy review?
That was my error. As the meeting was starting and I clicked the mouse, I drug it to the wrong spot. So
Oh.
what you're seeing, Marisa will fix after the meeting, but what everyone else is seeing is what they should be seeing. So,
Okay.
yes. Thank you for keeping us on track. It was a test and you did well, so congratulations.
Thank you.
We need a proficiency scale for that so that we can, that's a 2. For me or for her?
Okay.
Oh, for me? Oh.
4 for me.
Okay. I'd like to invite, we have 3 guests here tonight, so Ernestina, Hernan, and Sarah, if you'd bring a couple other chairs and just sit up front just for a moment. I wanted to talk a little bit about you and share some information with the board and the community. Sebastian brought it up. We had a student-led orientation day on the 29th, and it was my 27th orientation day in Othello, and we've done a number of things over the years. I remember one year we had a group of administrators formed a band, and they played at the corridor. We played games. We've had keynote speakers. We've done a variety of activities, and each year you're a little bit nervous about what it's going to feel like and what the purpose really is. Was it worth the time and the energy and investment to set it up? And folks give you feedback every time. You know, there's thumbs up, thumbs down every time. This was a unique one in that the feedback we got, particularly about these three, was all thumbs up. And so it was really nice and I think appropriate for us to recognize them. But I want to give you a little bit of background on what Ernestina and Hernan and Sarah did prior to the event on the 29th. So in the spring of last year at Othello High School, Assistant Superintendent Schenk and I interviewed them individually for about an hour. And we asked them, 20 questions about their families, about themselves, and about their hopes and dreams. And then we collaboratively started to write about what they shared with us and what we thought might be important for teachers and other employees to hear. And then over the summer, I think we met maybe 3 times. We met at Time Out a couple times. We ate at a couple cool restaurants. Sometimes we just ate and didn't even talk about the stuff. So, but in those conversations, they would share a little bit more. We would edit the writing, and then they submitted some pictures, and then right before, a couple weeks before, we did a walkthrough, and we just talked about what the space would feel like. I tried to let them know here's when pauses are going to come in your speech, and so they practiced that. And then they had about 30 seconds where they practiced just a bit of their speeches the day before, but they didn't get to put it all out there. We had a dress rehearsal. So none of us were really sure what was going to happen on that day. I don't think that they were sure. But what happened was really special. The reaction that people had to their stories and what they shared was particularly impactful. And when I spoke with them in the spring and throughout the summer, I shared with them that the mission of the intent of that event was to perhaps make our people laugh a little bit and cry a little bit. And I think they did that so perfectly with what they shared and the power of each of their stories. So in our public comment tonight, Mr. Mendez mentioned COVID and the impacts and some of the changes we've gone through. One of the things that sort of went away during COVID was recognition. And so we've brought that back in a particular way. But for a time in the school district, we had challenge coins. Anybody remember those?
Yep.
And we didn't give out a whole lot of them, so they were really hard to get. And then we kind of stopped giving them. And so I've been speaking with Ed recently about how we amplify not only these and maybe think about how we give them. So I'm not sure we've ever given them to students, but we want to kick that off. And so I wanted to recognize each of them with a challenge coin. So it's a little coin that you'll get to take with you that talks about, the coin doesn't say this, but it's in recognition of you stepping up to the challenge. Public speaking isn't easy. Getting in front of your current and past teachers and sharing openly about your lives is a significant challenge. And I really wanted to recognize you for stepping up to that challenge and say thank you.
Pete, can we say something?
Yeah, let's have the board say a few things and then we'll give them the coins.
Ken, do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Go ahead. You
Okay.
start.
I was blown away. Like, you guys were so incredible. I laughed and I cried. I was blown away at all of your stories, and then combined with the musical talent from the other students and the MC, like everything about that orientation was the best of the best. And it's because it revolved around the reason that we're all here doing what we're doing, and it's because of you guys. It's about our kids in the district, and each of you blew me away. So congratulations on just being amazing human beings and for doing such a great job. I'm sure all of your parents and family members are so proud of you, and you should be really proud of yourselves. I'm proud of you, and I don't even know you. So you did such a great job. Thank you for sharing your stories with us. It was incredible. Thank you.
I feel the same. I mean, I think we were just so amazed that you got up there. And then the second time around, you sped up. So you got really relaxed from the first time. And you did a fabulous job both times. I just want to put hands up for all of the students that helped. Every student that came in, they were so organized. All of you. You stepped in and you helped. And that's what our town wants to see. Our hearts are for the kids. And we want to see it. And we love that you guys step up. So this is just a step in your future. You guys have a lot of ways to go. So proud of you.
I've attended several all-staff orientations in the past, and this has by far been the best. I mean, having the students lead it was the best thing ever, especially because other ones we've always done it where, you know, we have something to share with the staff, we try to do something with the staff, but having you guys up there, you guys killed it. I mean, it was amazing, and to hear your guys' stories, and I know that there's a lot more kids that probably have, I mean, amazing stories like you guys have, and I just wish that we could hear them all because it's really impactful. And yes, I was so emotional. I was crying. I was in tears. I couldn't believe it. Each of you have gone through like your own specific story, and it's just really awesome to see that you guys are here. I also loved the video of you and Pete.
Oh my gosh, that was so
Hands
good.
down, the best video in the world. Like, I cracked up both times I watched it. That was so awesome and unique. And I really want to know who dug it up.
I know.
I mean,
Same.
like, I can see Pete thinking about it, but you probably thought about it too. So I thought that was amazing. And then Sarah, your parents, everything that you had to deal with, and the sign language barrier. I mean, that is amazing. I can't say enough about, you know, your growth, and you're so mature about it. You handle it like so well. And so I'm just so excited to see what you guys do in the future. And I hope that you guys could come back and speak to us about what you guys do after high school, because we want to hear it.
I think all of us were there for both presentations. And I will say even the second time around, when I knew what was coming and what was going to be said, it was just as impactful the second time around. And I heard things the second time around that I kind of missed the first time. So hearing it twice, I think, was a little bit extra special for those of us that got to hear it a second time. For me, probably the best thing that I have gotten since I've been on the board just for the last few months is to be able to get this inside track, to see and learn the stories of some of the amazing students that we have in this district. My kids are a lot younger than you guys, and so without this, I don't get exposure to those bigger stories that are making that impact. And I just, along with everybody else on the board, I'm super proud of you guys, and I am super proud to have inspirational people like you within our district.
I just want to say that I have known Sarah since like 7th grade. We're birthday buddies. If you didn't know, we share the same birthday. And I have known her for forever. I've watched her go through every little stage that she's had. And I'm just so proud of her. And she's always been someone that I've looked up to. And I love her very much. Stop crying. I was crying during her speech. I was laughing. I was so very emotional. And it's crazy just to think that, like, these are, like, my people. Like, I am growing up with you guys. We are all going through things separately, but we're going through it together. And it's just a really good thing to know that there are other people out there too. And I'm really proud of you guys, and I love all of you. Okay, I'm done.
Oh, I'm crying again.
Me too.
No, I'll lighten it up a little bit. Hernan and I will lighten it up. And then Ken, unless you want to go first.
Go for it.
I've got, just really quick.
Yeah.
I was thoroughly impressed with the whole thing. That was by far one of the best staff orientations that I've been to, because it was all about the students. It was all student-led. You guys had wonderful stories. And not only did you speak to the large group with your stories, but you spoke to each individual teacher. And it impacted me as an individual too. And I believe it impacted each one of the teachers that were there and other staff members that were there that day on an individual level too. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I know the nerves were there at the very beginning of it. I see you're not as nervous as being in front of us tonight as you were there at the beginning, but you guys were wonderful. Great. Thank you.
Sebastian wants to speak.
Yeah. Oh, Sebastian, yeah.
Okay.
You can go first if you want.
Yeah, I don't want to follow you. So, the Hernan story. So, a couple of funny things came out of that. One was when I showed them the video, because I've had it for 10 years, we were having dinner, getting ready, and Hernan lost it. And then he added the music, which I thought was just a brilliant touch. So Hernan added the music. But somebody reached out to me and said, oh, you were such a patient principal. He needed his moment, and you just demonstrated patience. That video said patience. And I was like, oh, yeah. What they didn't know is Hernan was never in trouble.
Oh.
So I needed a moment, and I'm like, hey, it's hard at work today. Being a principal's tough. I need to be around a cool kid. I'm going to go down and call Hernan out of class, and I'm going to talk to him for 5 minutes. I'm going to feel better, and he's going to go back to class. And so that's what we did. And when Hernan got in the hallway, I'm like, hey, before we go in my office, and we're not going until you dance. And that's what he did. But Hernan and other kids, when I was a principal, they bring that kind of joy to the work. And so he wasn't in trouble. He was just being himself. And it wasn't me demonstrating patience. It was probably me demonstrating, I don't even know what the word might be, but I needed it at the moment. So that was more for me.
That's awesome.
Go ahead, Sebastian.
That's so good.
Well, the three of you were very amazing that night. Those stories were very inspirational, while some of them were relatable to me. Especially, what's your name? Ernestina. Your story touched me the most, since that's what it feels like growing up with Hispanic parents. They sacrificed pretty much everything they had for me. And I'm really thankful that all of you shared your stories. I know it's very hard to get up and speak, since it's not something students and kids can do. But really, thank you. There's not enough thank yous in the world to describe how much impact your story had on the teachers and students.
All right, well, thank you for that. Thank you, everyone, and thank you guys for being here tonight. So we'll come forward and give you a coin, and then if everyone could join in for a picture, and we can take care of that real quick. Everybody want to shift over to that way, to my left a little bit? A little more. More? And then squeeze in. And then we don't have to each other. We gotta like each other right now.
I'm never good with photos.
Everybody's pointing, right there it is. Wow. Take a couple, make sure I get it right. And then I've got little stands for you here on the back table that you can kind of press those into. You open them up and press the cords in them so you can display them on the shelf. All right, thank you for taking the time for all that and for the feedback for each of them. Next item on superintendent informational items is a strategic planning update. I just wanted to let you know that we have two significant events coming up. One is on the 26th, where we'll have between 40 and 60 people participating in our first sort of data gathering activity, where we're talking with folks about the direction of the district. I know we have 2 board members that are going to try and participate on that. That team will meet 5 or 6 times throughout the year to talk about strategic planning and where we're headed as a system. We also have our principals at each of our sites working on collecting student voice information for the strategic planning process. They plan to have that done by the 21st, and then we'll be using some of that data when we meet on the 26th as well. So that student voice component, certainly student-centered strategic planning is going to be, student voice is going to be a big part of it. Part of the work for Ernestina, Hernan, and Sarah was kicking off that idea about student voice and how powerful it can be, and then Sebastian and Jaden providing that example each time we have a board meeting. That will play a key role in where we're headed with strategic planning. So just want to let you know that work is going to get ramped up here, and exciting stuff happening. The next one is I'm going to invite Ed Peterson forward to talk a little bit about Parent Square. I just want to set the stage before he gets going. We made the move to Parent Square based on some feedback we were receiving about the challenges from the number of phone calls folks were getting and the different platforms that we were using, and to really bring it into one platform. We fully understood that when we roll out something new, there's going to be some challenges, and there have been a couple. We wanted to provide an example, though, tonight for you all as board members and for those that are watching, for some ways to personalize how you receive the information and to let you know that we're taking the feedback. We want to make sure that we continue to refine it and make it work for all of our constituents. So Ed's going to talk you through a couple of ways to personalize Parent Square.
Yeah, there's some really easy ways to control how and when you receive information in the Parent Square app. That's actually one of the things that really attracted us to it. Reducing the number of phone calls in particular, not necessarily texts and emails, but phone calls was a goal. So with the exception of last night's late start phone call that almost nobody should have gotten a phone call, but somebody checked 2 wrong boxes, and here we are. It should by default only send a text message and email, and then if you don't have either one of those on file with us, it'll send you a phone call in that case. So for most of the alerts that we've sent out, it's done about 112 phone calls instead of 2,900 or 4,000. But we're going to have Marissa log into her account so we can show you kind of the real world look at what you have to do to customize your messaging or your notification preferences here. So I can't see that, so I'm going to get up and walk over to the screen. So from a desktop, it's really easy. You just want to click on your name in the menu there and click on My Account. And then all the way across, you can click on Notification Settings, which brings up, if you scroll down, brings up all of the schools you're affiliated with. Everybody's by default is affiliated with the school district automatically, but if you have a child at Othello High School, the middle school, and another elementary school like I do, you're going to have more schools on here and get more notices. So each school has settings that you can customize. This is email, this is text message, this one's the app. So what I've done with my settings, because I don't want to get all of those messages all the time, you get the text message, you get the email, then you get the app notification, and that's just one message, and all of a sudden your head's going to explode. So what I've done is I've turned off email and text messaging, and because I have the app on my phone, I've set it to instant, so I get messages instantly from the school, so I can kind of see what's going on. You can turn those off, you can set them to instant, or there's the digest setting here. And what the digest setting does is it takes, if you were to set all of these to digest, it takes everything that's relevant to you and your kids in their schools, and it holds on to it for you until 6 o'clock in the evening, and then it sends it to you one message. Not 12 messages, however many. The high school sent out a few this evening. If you had your digest setting turned on, you would have gotten those at 6 o'clock, and everything that you want to see is right there, and you can pick and choose what you want to click on. There is the option to turn everything off. We recommend that you don't do that because the whole point of communication is being able to communicate with you. But if you were to do that, you would still get emergency alerts if we had a weather-related emergency, if there was a lockdown or something like that going on, you'd still get those messages. Through the app is pretty similar. I can't project my screen on there, but the account settings are pretty much the same on the app. There's toggle switches that you can choose. Turn this off, turn it on digest, turn it on instant, however you want to do it. So it puts you in control much more than what we had in the past. Questions?
Can you also control the phone call setting from there, or just texts and emails?
You shouldn't need to control the phone call setting because if we have that phone number for you for text and we have the email address, it won't call you unless it's an emergency setting.
Oh,
which
okay.
is kind of what I did last night with the phone call by accident. So if it gets you a text message and the text message is successful, it won't call you.
Okay.
If it's an emergency, though, and it tries to call you and you don't answer, apparently we learned it's pretty persistent and it'll just call you back.
Okay.
So, yeah, you should almost never get a phone call from us. That was really part of the whole noise discussion was how can we reduce the amount of noise, and that's a big way we do it.
Okay. Is that the same for attendance as well?
Attendance, yes, you'll get either a text message or an email, and there's an option in the app. We haven't set it up. We're still having Blackboard handle our attendance calls yet while we work out the logistics of when we want to call and what for.
Okay.
But it'll give you the option to excuse through the app as well, and then the attendance secretary will get a notification saying, Lindsay Prowse excused Rosalind for this reason, and you won't even have to call.
Okay, but that's not set up yet?
Not yet. coming
Okay.
next week.
Cool.
So if I have email and text turned off and I just have app notifications turned on instant, then, so I understand I got a phone call late Sunday because it was an error and an email and a text and an app notification. Is that because it was urgent?
That was because I
Or-
selected the urgent setting
Okay.
instead, and there was another checkbox I shouldn't have checked either.
Okay, so that should not, I mean, it's any urgent thing then will still come to all of those even though I have them turned off? Is that,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, and then if you leave that app setting on instant, every time one of your schools sends out something, you'll get it right away through the app. And once, in my opinion, once is enough. You don't need your phone dinging 12 times for one message.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, we'll continue to take feedback about that process. Again, it's a new tool. We really believe in the power of it, but it's going to take us some time to transition. I think this next move to managing some of the attendance issues will be, again, a way to synthesize the tools that we're asking parents to interact with, and again, to personalize it for themselves.
I do have one more question, and I don't know if Ed knows an answer, or if it's just something that can't happen with it, but my daughter is at High Cap, but her homeschool is Hiawatha. And I got a message sent like through a general message from Miss Gardner that High Cap was starting this week. But there was not any way in there that I could message her back, because she's not listed under my daughter's 15 other teachers.
Same with me.
I wasn't familiar with that issue. We have built groups for Joey so that she can communicate with High Cap as a whole and then by grade level as well. I wasn't aware that you couldn't message back directly, so that's something I can look into. You should be able to do that. I'll put it on my list.
Mhm.
Just remind me what grade?
My daughter's in grade 6.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Same.
All right, thank you. I'm going to have Marisa share some information with you about building site visits. There's some calendaring items that we are hoping we can get some flexibility around to help our principals and to help us with a couple of strategic planning initiatives as well. But we wanted to give you notice and see how you're all feeling about this.
So we had some scheduling conflicts with the principals. There's gonna be going to some conferences, it sounds like, so we needed to move some things around. So if you guys are okay with it, we're gonna be doing OHS on October 30th. That one is the one that wasn't already scheduled. So that would be an additional date. And then we're gonna do Hiawatha on November 6th. So that would be 2 Mondays back to back. So if that's okay with you guys, and then they will do their reports. OHS will do the first one in November, and then Hiawatha will do theirs at the second board meeting in November. So,
Those dates work out good for me, so
Same.
That's good.
thank you.
Really appreciate the flexibility. There's, again, a strategic planning event, I believe, on the 6th, but we're able to work around that one. A couple of professional development activities that, we just didn't know that far ahead. So we apologize for having to adjust your calendars, but we really appreciate the flexibility with that. So thank you for that.
Quick question. So November 6th, election is the 4th?
7th.
7th. Just kidding. Doesn't matter. Nix that.
Okay. Yes. Now we will go to policy review. We've got, actually, there's a new one in there too. So, and then some more that are being cleaned up, finally in the 6,000s. So, get a chance to take a look over those. Again, if they've got any questions or comments. Okay. We'll go on to upcoming events. Of course, we've got the first day of preschool. That's tomorrow, ain't
Yep.
it? And next week, the board site visit, Wahidas. Our next regular meeting will be the 25th. And then the strategic planning starts on the 26th. Is there any other dates to add to that?
Do we add our cookies and convo to that?
Yes,
So, yeah, the 20th.
yes. Okay. We'll go on to board self-assessment for the meeting.
I'll just say thank you to having the students here for us to be able to recognize, and for the district as a whole, taking a chance on having the students do that whole day, because I think it was incredible.
It really was. Anytime we have students at a school board meeting, I know it was probably so boring for you guys, but it's the highlight of our meeting to have you guys, to have students. So thank you for coming. And a very well-planned agenda.
I'd like to thank both Sebastian and Jaden for their student rep reports.
Yes.
Appreciate you taking that seriously, and both of you providing a report when you're here.
Appreciate the coming to the board with the time changes, the date changes, and working out with the staff, principals to do that.
Just a suggestion, maybe for the next meeting, Marisa could bring us some tissue, just in case we need it
We
down
used
at
to
this
have it.
end of the table.
Sharon has it. Sharon has it guarded.
to have it.
Oh, I thought you said you had some.
No, we used to.
Okay. Is there any more to bring to the self-assessment? Okay, then at this time, the board will recess into executive session for 15 minutes to discuss the sale or lease of land. No action will be taken following the executive session. We'll meet in Pete's office in 3 minutes.